Good evening, all of you. Welcome to this session. Today we are going to discuss some popular previous year questions of MAH CET, right? These are based on some actual papers, some memory-based papers, right? And again, the effort has been to cover various question types from vocabulary, from grammar, even a parajumble is there, right? So the focus of discussion today will be verbal ability. All right, then let's begin. Right. Good evening, Rushi. So, we'll straight away jump to some questions today, okay? And we'll try to answer them as fast as we can because, see, time is of essence in any entrance exam, particularly MAH CET, right? Some of these questions are knowledge based, for instance, direct vocabulary, synonym, antonym. So, let me see what you say for this one. Good evening, Ashish. Yes, let's see. Okay, all right. Ashish says 1, Saurabh says 3. Direct vocabulary. You just have to find out a word that is similar or almost the same as starved. Good evening, Sameer. I'm good. How are you? Rushi says 3. Okay. 3. All right. Editor's choice also says 3. Hungry. Okay. Good evening, Mani. So, emaciated and hungry, these are the two options that you should have narrowed down to. Okay. Now, between these two, of course, hungry is a better choice, right? Why? Let's see. So, starved is just an extreme form of somebody who is hungry, right? So, hungry, extremely hungry means starved. So, instead of saying I am extremely hungry, you could say I'm starving or I'm famished. Okay, both actually are of a similar degree. I'm famished is even worse in a way, right? So hungry is a word that is similar. Emaciated, it also seems that it's okay, it has to do something with food or something with hunger. Yes, we use it for people who are suffering from hunger, have been suffering from hunger for a long time. So what is emaciated? Yes, tell me. Hi Sarika, good evening SG, good evening. So, when someone, because of suffering from continued hunger, becomes extremely thin, that person is called emaciated. Right? So, that is how it is related to hungry and starved, but it is a related word. We have a better word here, which is a synonym. Right? So, we will, of course, choose 3 over 5. Right? Fasting, no. Just because you're fasting does not mean you are starved. Deprived, deprived is when you are not given what is due to you. When some rights are taken away from you, it doesn't always have to do with food. Disadvantage, same thing, right? Doesn't always have to do with food. So absolutely correct, most of you are correct here. The answer is 3. Correct shorts or what? Okay, the answer is the answer for emaciated was extremely thin. Okay, so 3 was our answer here. Let's look at an antonym now. Pressing. You have to give me an antonym for it. Let's see what you say. A lot of words starting with the prefix un here. Okay. Ashish says 5. Others. Rushi says 3. Unobtrusive. Daisy says 5. Okay, Apurva, I'll check this and get back to you. Aniket says 5. Sameer says 1. All right. So 5, 3, 1. All right. Okay. Which potato question, Mayank? All right. So pressing. A pressing issue is a demanding issue, right? It's a demanding issue, something that needs to be addressed right away, right? It's something that is creating a lot of demands on you, on your time, on your, let's say, mind, etc. That's a pressing issue. So, unpopular, no. Unobtrusive means, see, what is an obtrusion or what is an obstruction? Let's talk about obstruction. You'll understand it better through that. So, something that obstructs your path actually hinders your path. So anything that is an obstacle, a hindrance, that is an obstruction, right? So unobtrusive, something that does not prove to be a hindrance for you, an obstacle for you. That is unobtrusive, something that doesn't come in your way. So unobtrusive does not necessarily have to do with, let's say, a demanding issue as such. Pressing is something that you use for issues. It's a pressing issue. Unobtrusive, your clothes could be unobtrusive. So they don't come in your way. They are very functional. Then I would say your clothes are unobtrusive, right? So is not necessarily related to pressing here. Unsuitable. Pressing does not mean suitable. So this is not an antonym at all. Now, pressing matters are, yes, they are important matters. I agree with you. So you should have actually narrowed down to unimportant and undemanding. But again, my question to you is, which is better out of these two? A pressing issue? Is it a I mean, could you say that it's an important issue, or is it an insistent issue, something that, demands your attention right away? So, what would you say? So basically, undemanding is better here rather than unimportant. Okay, unimportant is definitely related because a pressing issue is usually something that's currently important for you, right? But the exact meaning of the word is something that's demanding. So undemanding is more appropriate, and that's why 2 is our answer here, right? Hope this makes sense to you. Okay. कैबेज था uh, potato, onion, lettuce, cabbage. I don't think I discussed this. I rather discussed this question wherein you were given brinjal, I think. There were basically, see, the I have forgotten the exact question, but the underlying logic there was that anything that has seeds is a fruit. Okay, anything that has seeds is a fruit. Whereas anything that is that, so seeds or flower, anything that has seeds or flower, right, comes from the flower, that is a fruit. Okay, whereas something that's like, let's say, a leaf or a stem or a root, that is a vegetable. So that is why, see, potatoes, they are a part of the root. So potatoes are vegetables. Cabbage, it's a leaf in a way. So cabbage is a vegetable. Stem, like lotus stem, that is also a vegetable. So that was the underlying logic there, right? I have forgotten the exact question. Okay. Now, coming to our next question, fill in the blanks. Yes. Let's see what you say. Fill in the blank. Okay, Ashish has answered the fastest again. 2. Jeet, Sameer, Samriddhi, Saurabh, all of you say 2. Aruna, Prateek, Natasha, SG. Okay, everybody is giving me a resounding 2. All right. The move to allow dumping of mercury dash an outcry. So basically, what I want to say is it resulted in an outcry. But the first one just says resulted, not in an outcry. That's why I can eliminate it right away. Now, what does it mean to incite something? To incite something. Yes, it means to, yes, to provoke something. Okay, it means to provoke something. So, going by that, 3 makes sense. I mean, the first blank of 3 makes sense. But if you look at the second blank, dash an outcry from residents of the area who determined that high levels of mercury will affect their health, or who, in a way, what I want to say is that they were worried, they are worried about this, right? They are worried about this. So, worried is a better word than, let's say, determined. Accept, believe. Okay, and in fact, believe can be very easily rejected because angered and outcry does not make sense, right? So 2 is our answer, absolutely correct. It provoked an outcry. It resulted in an outcry because the residents fear. They fear that this might happen. Okay, so our answer is 2. Yes, instigate, incite, they are synonyms. Very good. Yes, resulted in matters. Correct. Okay. Then an matters for outcry. I mean, an just tells you that an has come before outcry because of the a sound, the vowel sound. Okay. All right. So 2 is our answer here. Very easy fill in the blanks. Sometimes you do not get very difficult vocabulary words when you fill in the blanks. It's all contextual vocabulary. You just have to understand the surrounding words and mark your answer. Right. So phrase replacement. There is an option called no correction required also. Let's see what you say here. Okay. Weber and Natasha say 2. SG says 4. Saurabh says 4. Okay. 2, 4, 4. So basically, seems to be a mixed response wherein some of you are saying 2, some of you are saying 4. Now, those who are saying 2, you are missing something. See this. We have to understand the sentence also, right? Don't just read this phrase, read the entire thing, okay? Thanks to numerous government initiatives, rural masses, which was earlier unaware of luxuries of urban ways of living, are now connected to the same lifestyle. So, thanks to these initiatives, earlier they weren't exposed to this, exposed to the luxuries of urban ways of living, but they are now exposed to it. They're now connected to the same lifestyle. So, unaware is the word that I'm looking for, not aware, not conversant. Conversant with, if you are conversant with something, that means you know how to do that thing. Okay, you have been exposed to that thing. So, conversant with no, aware no. These two can be rejected on this basis only. So, you see, even though this looks like a grammar question, it's actually a mix of grammar plus vocabulary, contextual vocabulary. Now we are talking about masses, which is plural, right? So when you refer to something plural, you can't use was. You should use were. So fourth is going to be my answer. Rural masses. Masses are what? People. So for people, we'll use who, not which. Rural masses who were earlier unaware. Rural masses who were earlier unaware. So our answer is option 4. Hope this makes sense to everybody. Good. Later on, most of you answered 4 only. Right. Liking the session so far? Then you know what you have to do. Please press the like button. Yes. And again, as I always tell you, if you have any comments to add later on, you can always comment in the comment section. I reply there. Okay. Then please subscribe to our channel. Very important if you don't want to miss various updates regarding our new sessions. We keep on adding sessions sometimes at as and when the need arises. So if you subscribe to it, it helps. Same or opposite? Yes, absolutely correct, Daisy. And that's why we used were and not was. Now, this is a unique question type. So here, what it says is, in each of the following questions, four words. So basically, it was a series of questions. You just have one out of these. In this question, four words are given, of which two words are most nearly the same. Either they are synonyms or opposite in meaning, or they are antonyms. Find the two words which are most nearly the same or opposite in meaning and indicate the number of the correct letter combination by darkening the appropriate over in your answer sheet. So this was the precise instruction, right? So these are your options and these are your combinations. So tell me which of these represents a synonym or an antonym pair. Let's see what you say. Okay, I've got 5 responses so far. Others? Yes. 5 responses from 5 students who say 5 is the answer. All right. So everybody says 5. What is germane? What is germane? Germane. If I say, is your question germane to the discussion? If I ask you this. And if I say, oh, your question is very germane to the discussion. It is germane to the discussion. Germane is something that's relevant, pertinent, important, okay, related. So germane is relevant and therefore the opposite pair is AD. Okay, so AD is irrelevant. The answer is 5. 5, Sameer. AD. That is the answer, not BD. Okay, so germane, irrelevant. So this is a unique question type. However, ultimately it is testing your vocabulary only. Ultimately it is testing your synonym antonym knowledge only. Right? So A, B. Now, another question type which is sentence completion. So this is a mix of, you could say it's a mix of your grammar plus vocabulary. Vocabulary in the sense, it's basically testing your contextual knowledge. Are you able to place things in context or not? Are you able to, from the surrounding words in a way, deduce what should come before this? So it's a mix of logic, vocabulary, grammar, etc. Yes. Tell me what should come in this question. What should be the answer? Good, Daisy, pertinent, relevant. Correct, correct. Correct, Samir, correct. Let's see what you say for this. 4A, all right. A means 1 here. Acha, no. 4, okay. Hmm, all right. Not 1. The party leader gave a strong message to the mayor for improving his political style, or else they would not keep electing him year after year. Not 1. Nobody says 1. Okay. So, you're absolutely correct. 4 is the answer indeed. 1 is not the answer. Because when I say or else they would not keep electing him year after year. Who are these they? 1 does not tell me who these they are. The residents. Okay, the residents are these they. The residents must really be impressed with the political style of their mayor. Or else they would not keep electing him year after year. Right? So, absolutely correct. 4 is the answer here. Okay. One, no, because there is no antecedent for they. The noun for which a pronoun is used, this noun is called its antecedent. This noun is called the pronoun's antecedent. So here, residents is the antecedent for which they has been used. Right? Easy? Okay then. So here's a parajumble question. Okay, this is a non-MCQ parajumble in the sense that in MAH CET sometimes what they do is instead of giving you options about the order of the parajumble, they would rather ask you such questions. So for instance, later on the question that will be asked is which of the following sentence should be the fifth after rearrangement. So while attempting these questions, first please read the question stem. Because if you have been given the order, then it's an MCQ parajumble. But if you've been given such questions, then it is essentially a non-MCQ parajumble only. Right? So first read that. Sometimes you also have vocabulary and grammar questions as part of your parajumble question. For instance, let's say I highlight some word here, let's say turn around, and then I ask you which of the following words is similar in meaning to the word turn around. So I framed a vocabulary question from here. Similarly, let's say I, instead of writing are made, I put a blank here and then I ask you out of various options what should come. Is made, was made, are made, were made. So it has become a grammar question. So in such a way, parajumble can come as a set in MA and CT, a set of, in fact, sometimes 7 questions, wherein you will be asked such questions such as what will be the fifth sentence, second sentence, third sentence, plus some vocabulary and grammar questions. Right? So a lot of clues in this parajumble. Read it, form those clues, form a sequence, and then tell me the answer. Correct, Daisy. They is used to refer to the residents. With refer, we do not use back. Remember we did this. Refer, repeat, reply, revert, respond. Okay. For these words, the re automatically means back or again. We need not use our respond back, repeat again, things like that. Okay. All right then. Let's attempt this. Give me a sequence. Let's see what you say. So I'm waiting for receiving some responses, then I'll respond. Okay. Okay, so I've got EFCADB, EFC, BAD. All right, all right. Let me just write these down, okay? That will be easier for all of us. So basically, EFC is something that a lot of you are saying. Then EBD is also something that you are saying. EFC, EBD. All right. Then multiple combinations after this. ADB, I've got. Some are saying ABD. Okay, some are saying BAD. So after that, it varies. Okay, EBD. Okay, FCA. All right, FCA. This is also something that I'm getting. All right, all right. So let's have a look. That means E is the opening sentence. Everybody agrees with that, right? So if you were asked this question, what is the first sentence after rearrangement, then I think everybody would get that question correct, right? You are correct. It defines biofuels, basically, in a way, how they are sourced, right? So biofuels are made from plant sources, and since these sources are available in abundance and can be reproduced on a massive scale, so they form an energy source that is potentially unlimited, right? So in a way, that's a plus. Yes, that's an advantage. So after this, is there any other advantage that we have talked about? No. Okay. But I see some disadvantages. These disadvantages. So that means there is some sentence that talks about disadvantages. Right? Okay. Uh, these include dependence on fossil fuels for the machinery required to produce biofuel. That's a disadvantage. So probably C will come before A. C will come before A. All right. So I was talking about advantages. How have I come to disadvantages from there? There needs to be some word, some transition that has to take place, some contradiction that has to take place. And that is taking place in F. So after E, there will be F, not B. After E, there will be F. Okay. Uh, now, some of you must be thinking, why not B? Because B is also giving us some advantages. I'll tell you why not B. We'll see when we form a sequence. So after E, we'll say F. However, everything is not as green with the biofuels. See, we said no, they come from plant sources. So everything is not as green with the biofuels as it seems, as there are numerous disadvantages involved, which at times overshadow their positive impact. So E and then F. Now, what are those disadvantages that is mentioned in C? These include dependence on fossil fuels, okay, and basically for the material, for machinery required to produce biofuel, you are again depending on fossil fuels. So ultimately, you are creating pollution, right? Which is as much as burning fossil fuels on roads and exorbitant cost of biofuels, which makes it very difficult for the common man to switch to its option. So costly hai, polluting bhi hai. That is the disadvantage. Okay. While these disadvantages, so I've mentioned two of these, no, costly and ultimately polluting. While these disadvantages are serious, they are the only alternate energy source for the future. And the sooner we find solutions to these problems, the faster we'll be able to solve the problems we are now facing with gasoline. So now the discussion about gasoline has started. Okay, so EFCA, good. EFCA. All right. Now, B and D form a very strong pair, and in fact, A and B also form a pair. Why? Because A begins the discussion about gasoline and B continues that. Also, if you look at B and D, B talks about turning around, yes, have the potential to turn around the global economy. Then I said this turnaround. Which turnaround? The one that I've just discussed in B. So BD is a pair. Okay, so absolutely correct. EFCABD is the sequence. Some of you very rightly marked this only, as in typed this only. Okay, good. Daisy, correct. Then, okay, EFCABD, yes. Natasha, correct again. Good. Mridula, correct. Okay, that is the sequence here. So, what is the fifth sentence after rearrangement? The fifth sentence after rearrangement. You've got your answer also. Yes. So that's how simple these questions can become once you have figured out the sequence. But figuring out the sequence correctly is very important, right? Then only you will be able to mark correctly what is the fifth sentence, third sentence, second sentence after rearrangement. Okay. So my advice to you is that if you get such a parajumble set, don't leave it completely. First, go if in case you do have vocabulary and grammar questions from here, attempt those vocabulary and grammar questions first, right? Then look at the sequence. Is the language familiar? Are the sentences short? Okay. If let's say it appears like you can make a sequence out of it, then yes, by all means make a sequence and give it a shot. If however it appears to be difficult, then probably you can consider leaving it for the time being and attempting your other questions which are shorter. Because if you look at it, if let's say 6 to 7 questions come from here, then it is just like an RC passage only, no? It's just like an RC passage then. So again, you have to prioritize whether you want to attempt it before an RC passage or whether you want to go for your RC passages first and then this. Right? So I hope this makes sense to you, what I just said. Our answer here is B, Bangalore. 2 is the answer. B is the answer here. Any questions you can ask me. Okay then. Let's have a look at this question. Sentence completion. Right. So let's see what you say. Complete this sentence. Correct, correct. They can be tricky at times, Daisy. I agree with you. So these transition words, these markers, however, but also they have to be paid attention to very carefully, right? Plus these vocabulary based or context based connectors like turnaround, for instance, the mention of turnaround or the mention of gasoline in both the sentences, that also has to be paid attention to. That's why I said that you should prioritize when it comes to parajumbles also, right? Okay. So I've got some responses here. Let's see what the others say. Okay. Everyone says two. A. Okay. I've got one A also. All right. So this is an interesting question type, sentence completion, because it requires your logic, your grammar, your vocabulary, right? You have to put everything together and then you have to mark an answer here. This was a fairly simple question, isn't it? So, refuting, when you refute something, you basically deny it. Okay. So, refuting the rationale behind frequent agitations. What are agitations? Protests. Refuting the rationale, the explanation, the reasons given behind frequent agitations for formation of separate states, a recent report. So, this recent report is denying any reasons whatsoever behind frequent agitations. That's how I can interpret it. So, what did this report say? Uh, if let's say it proved that such agitations result in loss of governmental property, so does that make for a strong statement that okay, that's why they're not justified because they result in loss of governmental property? Or will two make better sense? If they don't necessarily improve the economy, if they don't have this is a major advantage, improving the economy. If they don't carry that advantage, then it doesn't make much sense, no, to go for frequent agitations. So it's, you are absolutely correct, it's the second one. It's the second one. So, when I'm trying to refute the rationale behind frequent agitations, I should give a reason that shows that they don't result in any benefit as such, right? That the formation of small states, why are these agitations happening? For the formation of small states, no. So, if I say that the end that they are trying to achieve is not particularly beneficial, that is what will refute the rationale. So, 2 is a better answer choice, not A. I hope you understood it. All right. Let's come to our next question then. This is a fill in the blank again. Let's see what you say. Fill in the blank. Easy question again. Okay. Let's see. What are your responses here? 1A, all right. Okay. Sorry, the text is a bit out of place. Even as the dash elsewhere in the world are struggling to come out of recession. So it could be countries, nations, economies, but we are talking about a recession. A recession comes in an economy. Yes, it's an economic event. So economies makes the best sense out of these. Even as the economies elsewhere in the world are struggling to come out of recession, Indian consumers are splurging, spending excessively, lavishly on consumer goods, and to dash this growth, companies are investing heavily in various sectors. Sorry for the formatting of this one. Uh, so companies are investing heavily in various sectors to dash this growth. What growth? The growth in demand. The growth in demand. So they will have to meet this demand. No, they'll have to meet this growth in demand. That is why one is the answer. Good. Absolutely correct. And I think the others could be very easily eliminated. That was also there in this question. What is inhibit? Inhibit, inflict. Inhibit means to stop something from happening, to prevent something from happening, to reduce the effect of something. Inflict is to bring something about, particularly something negative like pain, atrocities, etc. So these are as bad of it as there can be for the second blank, right? Nobody would try to inhibit the growth or inflict the growth. That does not make sense at all. Okay, coming to our next question now. Let's see. This one is again a sentence completion question. A sentence completion question. Yes, tell me what should I write here. Overlooking the fact that water scarcity intensifies during summer, dash. This limits should have been here. What do you say? So because this is an interesting question type, I have included quite a few questions from this area today. Okay, I've got responses. Four it is. Okay, four is what you are saying. Absolutely correct. That's the only one that makes sense here. So actually, an easy question again. Because see, if the government is overlooking this water scarcity, that means it will do something that will intensify the use of water. Yes, that will waste water. So our answer should be four. One of you said if the government is instructing or is issuing guidelines to limit the consumption, that means the government is not overlooking it. The government is not ignoring the water scarcity then. So one cannot be the answer. Right? Okay, perfect. Let's go to our next question then. The effort is to cover a number of questions. Okay, antonym. Again, very easy question. And these are from the actual MAH CET papers. Just trying to show you not every question is going to be difficult. Let's see what you say. Very easy. Hmm. Easy antonym question. Evaporate is not even a vocabulary word. Yes, it should not even be called a vocabulary word, right? So, what do you say? Accelerated, no, right? Then grew, not related. Okay, so evaporation, the first thing that comes to our mind is the antonym should be condensation or condensated, right? But here, uh, that word is not there. Plunge is to jump into something. Mismanage, not related. It's only one word that is related here, which is absorbed. Okay, not three. Why grew? Evaporation means that water is, the heat from the sun is actually, what is it doing? Acha, probably you are thinking of it as the heat absorbing the water. Is that the sense that you're making out of this? That's why two of you said three. Tell me, is that what you are thinking? That evaporation is that water is absorbed by the sun? Are we thinking on those lines? I need to know. What is your rationale behind saying absorbed? Yes, or grew for that matter. Okay. So, once I saw the reward, my interest evaporated. Okay, Ashish has used it in a metaphorical sense. Very good, Ashish. Okay, so this is actually an interesting question. Okay, now absorbed is a tempting answer to mark, right? When I also saw it first, I was tempted to mark absorbed. But if you look at it, absorption can work both ways. Something can get absorbed into the ground, or something can be absorbed by the heat that is present in the atmosphere. Right? So that is why it's not an exact antonym. But yes, the sense in which Ashish has used it in a metaphorical sense, my interest evaporated, it just diminished. Right? So grew is the opposite idea of evaporated there. Right? Absolutely correct. 3 is our answer here. I hope this makes sense. Others, yes. Any query, ask me. This was an interesting question indeed. Yes. One was a very tempting option to mark, but absorption can work both ways. All right, then I'm hoping this is clear to everybody. Okay. Again, this is a sentence completion question. Something has happened to the formatting. I even tried to correct it, but anyway. So tell me what the answer should be for this one. What do you say? Let's see. Hmm. But can't the heat absorb the water? Akash, can't the heat absorb the water? Or whichever way you want to put it, heat is absorbed by water. We could say it, we could put it that way also. Yes. My point is absorption is a phenomenon that happens when evaporation takes place, right? The heat radiated from the earth's surface is absorbed by that water and then it becomes vapor. That's what happens. So evaporation absorption are related, not antonymous. Okay. Hope this makes sense. Okay. Uh, but also missing hai pura. Okay, okay. Uh, all right, all right. So we've got 4 and 5 here. 4 and 5 here. Let's have a look at it. Achieving equality for women is not only a laudable goal. Is not only a laudable goal. So with not only, we should use but also, isn't it? With not only, we should use but also. So those who are saying that but also is missing and 5 should be the answer, I agree with you. However, this is from an actual MAH CET paper. This is the 2012 paper, okay? And that year the answer extended was 4. That it is also equally difficult to achieve and maintain for a long term. But if you ask me, grammatically speaking, not only should be followed by but also. Not only should be followed by but also. So they should have written but it is also equally difficult to achieve and maintain for a long term. Then 4 is perfect. Okay. So I think you can add but in the 4 and then it is perfect. Otherwise, in my opinion, the answer should be none of these. Okay. All right. In my opinion, none of these because the but was missing. Not only but also, that's what we teach you in parallelism. Yes, that they are correlative conjunctions. They should come together. Whenever there's a not only, there should be a but also. So going by that, 5 is the answer. All right then. So this is it from my side for today. Okay. I hope you enjoyed the session. And the idea was to cover sentence completion questions because they were new, right? I will also cover more of these synonym antonym pair questions. Just that I was looking at the past year papers and these questions didn't appear to be very difficult because ultimately they were testing your vocabulary and most of the questions that I saw were easy only. That's why I picked up just one. So in the coming, there'll be a part 2. There I'll cover more questions. Okay. So we'll talk about word usage, we'll talk about word rearrangement, those kinds of questions as well. Right? So more question types coming your way in the part 2 of this session, which we'll do very soon. Right? Okay, so I think you are aware of this, our CAT 2022 comprehensive program. This is all that is offered to you in it, right? And it's a comprehensive program. It covers all the exams. And yes, this is the channel that you join in case you have to ask any further queries and want to stay connected. Right? Thank you for attending. Thank you. Thank you, Ashish, Daisy. Thank you, Sameer. All right. See you tomorrow. Welcome. Bye.